Welcome to Jurassic Park.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while?
Do you want to know what it is?
There's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee.
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
There's a special rug in hell reserved for people who waste good scotch.
He peed on my rug.
He peed on the dude's rug.
Do your worst.
Final report of the commercial starship Nostromo.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Welcome to Your Feature Presentation, the podcast where we explore stories through the latest movies and pop culture. Grab your popcorn and enjoy the show. My name is Heath Fall, a co-host. Over here, another co-host, Andrew McKay.
That's what they called me in high school, co-host McKay.
Co-host McKay. But they would say the guy who coasts McKay because you just coasted through high school.
Ouch. I did, actually.
I'm going to take that again. I'm going to take that again and cut 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they do call you that, Andrew.
I was like, what are you doing? What?
I don't know. I was trying. You never workshop a joke while
Yeah.
on the pod.
Anyway.
Take 2. 1, 2, 3. When we did our Gary episode, I totally messed up. When Gary Honda was on Cosmere Junkie, I can't remember what I tried to do some joke where I was like, "Welcome," and I was gonna like insult him in Stormlight Archive lingo, and it just totally failed. I'm like, I'm gonna take that joke again.
Nice. Yeah, you were gonna call him the first Don, which is a compliment.
Yes, and I was like, no, I'm gonna insult him. So then I called him
The fourth
the
Don.
the champion of Odium.
Oh, nice. That's right. That's right.
Like the evil god. Well, welcome to Your Feature Presentation. We're happy you stopped by. Today we're talking about holiday movies, which is going to be really cool. So these are a bunch of movies that are coming out this holiday season, and we can talk about the ones we're excited for, or you can get pumped about the ones you want to go see. So all good stuff. I was going to tell a dairy story on our last episode, so I will tell this dairy story now.
Please.
So that's what we're gonna jump right in. So it was my honeymoon, right? And we were driving to a city that's like an hour and a half north of our hometown. That's where we're going to stay and have our honeymoon week. And we decided to get some Starbucks on the drive up, which I refer to as Starby Darbies. So if I say we're going to Starby Darbies, you know what I'm saying. I think it's pretty logical what I'm talking about, but
Sure, it follows.
Just wanted to make sure everyone knew what Starby Darbies was. Side story. What's your Starbucks order?
I always get black coffee from Starbucks only when I'm in an airport. It's kind of a ritual. Unless I drink black coffee exclusively, unless it is pumpkin spice season.
Ooh.
Then I jump immediately to a pumpkin cream cold brew. That pumpkin foam on the top. Oh, so good.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So I struggle because I don't like coffee, so I don't get coffee from Starbucks.
Bummer, dude.
I get a really weird drink. You ready for this?
Okay.
Water. No, just kidding.
Shut up.
I get a venti dragon fruit refresher with light ice and no fruit. That's my order.
So juice.
I get juice and a cake pop.
That's great, dude.
When it happens though, Emma does make me sit in the back seat because she's like with her coffee and she's like, "Get in the back. Here's your cake pop," and she'll like throw it at me. And
you go,
I just,
juice,
and I kick the back of her seat a lot while I'm eating the cake pop too. But that's just a little bit.
Just you're driving and you pull up to a drive-through. You're like, "Can I have some juice and a piece of cake, please?"
Oh, sorry. You actually have to be sitting in the back seat. Oh, no problem.
Okay.
So we got Starbucks. I got my juice.
Yeah.
And then Emma got she wanted I should know this. It's I think it was an iced coffee with light cream. I think that's what she wanted. But they forgot the cream. So we go up there and it's just an iced black coffee. And she goes, "Oh, can I get some cream in that?" and they're like, we've already handed it to you. And she was like, but there was like you could see the barista was like, what do I do here kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you could just get us some cream separately. Well, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So she gave us another disposable cup with just a little shot of creamer in there.
Yeah.
But I say shot, and it was like half of the cup was full of creamer.
Whoa.
And so like Emma's like, well, okay. So she pours the creamer into the coffee. So I was like, well, that's all I needed. I just wanted like a little splash, and now we have this disposable cup full of milk. Put it in the driver's side cup holder. So like in the door.
Oh no.
2 days later.
Oh no.
We go out to the car. And I'm not going to get into details of why it was 2 days later. We go into the car, and I'm like, what smells horrible? Like, I open the driver's side door, and I'm like, what smells terrible? And I'm almost gagging. And then Emma is in the she's opening the driver's side, and she goes, oh no. And she grabs the cup of the creamer, and she's like, and we're both like, disgusting. And then she dumps it out. Chunks. Straight up cottage cheese chunks fall out of this cup.
That's gross.
And I literally dry heave immediately. I don't think I'm that gaggy. And I immediately, I was like, yeah. And I don't know what it's like to have PTSD. But it's one of those things that like, you're like, that bothers me, and it bothered me for a while. And like Emma, to mess with me, will just be like, "Remember that milk from our honeymoon?"
Oh man!
So
You
that's
ever
my
seen
story.
Have you seen that TikTok of the little kid who's like watching someone pick spaghetti up with tongs?
No.
He's like, so they pick up some spaghetti at the table, and he goes, wow.
He gets
And, like,
because
you
he's
can
looking
tell.
at spaghetti.
Yeah, you can tell that he like doesn't know why it's grossing him out, but it's stringy and wet, and he laughs again, and he's like, wow. Oh, it gets me.
That's great.
Whoa.
That's great humor right there.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to your feature presentation.
Welcome. Dairy stories. You got any dairy stories?
Oh man, do you want me to gag one more time in the microphone?
Yeah. I'm sure like
That's
there's
all right.
something.
I'm okay.
I feel so bad because I know there's some people that the sound of gagging or talking about gagging makes people sick. So there's some people that are just like, I just need to pull over for a second.
Driving their car right now.
Podcast off.
I make a noise and they go,
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's so disgusting. But the scene from The Office when one of them starts throwing up and the whole office. Oh,
I don't like
word.
The Office, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I forgot about that. You don't like The Office. It's too dry for you. Is that right? Like or it's too awkward.
No. I don't. I
Let me
I
keep
like
guessing
the
until I
type
get
of
it.
humor.
Is it?
Oh, okay. I like the type of humor, and I like mockumentaries.
Yeah.
I think that the first season just put a nasty taste in my mouth. And it's just like, it's more often than not uncomfortable rather than being funny. Like Parks and Rec is mostly funny, sometimes uncomfy, and The Office is the other way around.
Which I think Parks and Rec, I love The Office, but I can see that side. Parks and Rec, I feel like the first season is so much like The Office.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's my least favorite. Like I always skip over, like when Leslie, the opening scene, I think is one of the worst scenes in Parks and Rec. Like when she's trying to push that homeless guy out of the slide.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just, it's slow and it's just not funny. And I'm like, this is the first scene of this show. I always forget about that. I'm like, I like this show. I'm going to do a rewatch. Then you start it and it's like, I don't find
They're
that
like,
funny.
oh no. Yeah.
I don't find that funny at all. What movie did school? I don't find that funny. I don't find that funny at all.
I don't know.
I'll give you the line before it. Is that made out to cash or check? I don't find that funny. I don't find that funny at all.
I still don't know.
Are you going to close the beach? We are.
Oh.
Only
Jaws.
24 hours. Only 24 hours. I didn't agree to that. Nails on chalkboard. I'm gonna.
So, movies coming out this weekend.
No, I'm gonna keep quoting Jaws.
Is the sequel to Jaws Moana's 2? Moana's dos. Moana's a dos.
Yeah, so this is the main movie coming out this weekend before
It
we
is,
jump
yeah.
into holiday movies. But yeah, Moana 2. I'm very excited. I'm going to try to take my daughter Lucy to this. So
cool.
She's 2.5, and I'm just going to go to a matinee with other kids. And it's like my preparing for it is like if we have to walk out 30 minutes in, like that's okay. I'm just going to try it, you know?
Yeah.
I got really excited because I don't know if you remember this. I remember being young enough in a movie theater that I remember having to like push my legs down on the fold up seat because like if my weight was on the front of them, you'd fold into them. Do you remember this at all?
Oh, cool.
I just remember being that little.
That still happens to me.
You still don't weigh enough. I apologize. I clap. Sometimes weird thing about me is when I find something funny, I clap once for some reason. I just lean back, and I try not to do that on the pod because that's super annoying. If you're an audio listener,
pick up on it.
Well, good. Hopefully that clap was cut out, and this is nonsense.
Oh, nice.
Anyways, so I remember being that young, where the seat would kind of like fold up on you.
Yeah.
And what I saw is they actually have these booster seats now that you can put on top of those. Oh, cool. So last time I was like scoping out, I was like, okay, I'm going to grab that one for Lucy. Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Nice.
I'm very
Wow.
excited. And obviously she's not allowed to have popcorn because of the choking hazard.
Yeah.
But I do want to take a picture, have a picture of her with holding the bucket of popcorn because like it's as big as her body.
Right. Yeah. She could fit inside of it.
Right. Just like put her in the bucket of popcorn.
Dude, that'd be funny.
Okay. Enough about kids.
Well, you'll have to update us on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will. I'm very excited. We're going to see how that goes. Okay. So Moana 2 is coming out. Do you have a synopsis for that?
Certainly. Let's see.
Disney's
I
Moana.
scrolled the wrong way on my list of movies that are coming out.
Moana is back, and this time she sets sails for the waters of Oceania, fighting treacherous monsters with Maui. And her crew, along Lin-Manuel Miranda, has been replaced by Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear to write the songs for the film. It remains highly anticipated return to Motunui Island and its people. Motunui, it's so funny. Did you ever play with Bionicles when you were a kid? I think you can literally see a Lego bag in the back of my room. Did I just give you a blast from the past? Bionicle.
Legends of Motunui.
Yep, that's always what I think about. And it's spelled differently, but Motunui. The Bionicle, they're the kind of like action figure size. They were made out of the Technic parts, and they'd have different masks that gave them different powers.
So
pretty
cool.
sweet. I still remember that was the first time I realized what theft was. Because you'd go into like Walmart and like all these mystery pack of masks would be like broken open.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, dang, it's intense.
Dang, dude, you want that mask so bad.
Dude, you want that mask?
Wow.
For shame.
So, Moana. Also, we did talk about these last episode, but
Oh, here, sorry.
qualifies as holiday movie.
Hold on.
Yes.
So real quick, we will get into, but I do find it very interesting. That was actually the first time that I realized Lin-Manuel Miranda is not returning to write these songs.
Oh, yeah.
And that does give me some trepidation because I'm like, he's such a good songwriter. And so now I'm like, oh, man, I hope we're going to get some good music. And I don't know about Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear.
Yeah, I don't know them.
But we'll see. And I'm excited to go. Okay, now give your spiel. Holiday movies.
Wow, okay. Holiday movies. Gladiator 2, we talked last week about this one. We talked about Red One already. We have talked about Wicked, but those are some movies that we've referenced over the last couple weeks that would be and are intentionally released around holiday because they're just really good, fun movies to see with family, with some friends visiting from town. Do you want to say anything about those, or
No, yeah. So this is just our list of like holiday movies, and so we include those because these should all be out in December. I mean, like December 25th is one of the biggest movie going times of the year. And so, yeah, there's a lot of family time, and there's a lot of, I don't know if you guys have that, but there's sometimes you're like new family and there's like 20 people in the house.
Yeah.
And you're like, what should we go do? And you want to go see a movie? Like so many people go to movies.
movie.
So, yeah, we're just going to book down this list of other holiday movies. So Wicked, Gladiator 2, and now we're kind of getting into some new movies we're excited for this holiday season.
Yeah. So one that sticks out a bit is Spellbound. This is actually a Netflix original. So this is an instance where, yes, you do find yourself in a house with 20 people, and you might say, what do you want to do?
Heath says,
let's go
see a movie. And then
Hey.
Andrew says,
And then I say, well, we could also click over to Netflix and all stay here and watch a
I said,
movie.
click, click, click.
Click, click, click. We could clickety-clack over to Netflix. And I think that is becoming more and more typical. I can't tell you how many times at a family Christmas we have started Return of the Jedi just because. It's like, yeah, just throw it on,
Yeah.
you know? But Spellbound has Rachel Ziegler, Nicole Kidman, and Javier Bardem. Very cool. As I said, it's a Netflix original fantasy set in the magical land of Lumbria, centers on a young girl named Elian, and she must save her kingdom by breaking a spell that has divided it in half and turned her parents into monsters. So if it is anywhere near as good as, what was that movie
Sea
called?
Beasts?
The Sea Beasts. Whoa, then it's going to be a hit.
I have not seen
I
it.
love that movie.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
but I know you
dude.
talked about it so much. I need to watch it.
I love Sea Beasts.
We should try that. That's a weird one for me because we see so many kids movies, but if it's a kid movie that's still a little too old for like Lucy, it's hard to see it, you know, because like why would I watch when my night off, why would I watch a kids movie? More of a kids
Right.
movie.
Yeah,
Would you
that's
say
fair.
like I guess I assume that. Would you say Sea Beast is a kids movie? A kids movie?
I watched it by myself because my son was a literal infant. So he realistically is not watching anything. So I did watch it by myself, and I had a blast, and I immediately showed it to my wife. So I watched it twice in one weekend because I had to show it to my wife.
Did she love it?
Is it still a kid's movie? I think so. But we both loved it. It was very good. Yeah. I think it's a fun watch with Emma.
Okay. I'm going to go.
Yep.
I'm going to go.
Do it. Man, what else, Heath? What else coming out this holiday season?
We got September 5th. We got a synopsis.
Peter Sarsgaard and John Magaro star in a historical drama that recounts the 1972 Munich Olympic hostage crisis, specifically from the perspective of the ABC Sports news team as they covered the unfolding situation live. This reminds me a lot of the that first responder movie. What is it? Ambulance or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that movie.
It was, what was, I'm totally floundering right now. His name, he was Mysterio in Spider-Man.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Jake Gyllenhaal. Did you see that movie?
I did not.
Oh, well, it seems a bit like that. And that was an interesting one. So,
yeah, we've seen other movies about this happening. So we've got Munich, which kind of shows the guys like getting revenge or justice, which is a big part of the movie, against what the situation happened. We don't need to, that whole, I don't know anything about it. I'm not saying I don't want to get into it. I don't know the situation. So I'm like, I can't talk about this hostage situation because I have no idea what actually happened. But so
Same.
Munich, which I have not seen either, Steven Spielberg, is about those guys who kind of try to go get justice to this situation. And so this is interesting because it's from the news side of it. Even hearing that description, it kind of reminded me of Civil War, which we talked about Civil War before. And I really liked Civil War. It was about these photojournalists
Yeah.
experiencing in wartime. And this was a movie that, like, the trailers really pushed this idea that it's a war film. And I think if you thought it was a war film, you kind of might be dissatisfied because it was not a war film. It was about these photojournalists.
It's like a journalism film.
Yeah, and so it's like if you want a character-driven story about a photojournalist, it's a great movie. But I think if you were like, I want to see America under Civil War, it's like it kind of fell a little flat because they really didn't go into like what was the cause of the rift in the Civil War, like what started this war, between like I think it was like mainland America and then like Florida and California were allies, which doesn't seem quite likely to me, but
Yeah.
and so that
I think it
that
was
was
Florida
kind of
and
an interesting
Texas,
movie.
maybe. But anyway.
Well, Texas was a different thing, but it was weird. Yeah. Anyways, so that kind of reminded me of that when you read that description. Just kind of like there's a bigger thing going on, but it's kind of cool to show like a more character driven side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
All right. So next we got Night Bitch.
Night night.
Is that what you say? No, unfortunately, that's what my wife's farewell to me is usually.
A farewell.
All right. No one going to bed. It is funny too because I am still. It's like sometimes I'm like, can you say that? Like, can movies title themselves that?
Yeah.
Some people wouldn't, say that word. The funniest one to me was the sequel to Meet the Parents.
Yeah.
It's called Meet the Fockers.
Yeah.
Fockers. And they pushed back and said, you can't call it that because we can't put that on, the billboards outside of our theaters. And so they showed them an actual family, like with that last name. Like, nope, these are actually people's names. Like, this isn't just like, we named it or whatever. So
Yeah. Marielle Heller directs this adaptation of Rachel Yoder's novel Night Bitch, which sees Amy Adams take center stage as a stay-at-home mom who gradually transforms into a dog at night. The original novel was inspired by changes Yoder experienced in her personal and professional life after becoming a mother, and the film looks to retain those underlying themes. Very interesting. I think this is one that I will watch eventually, but I don't think I'll get to it over the holiday.
yeah, it's like, oh, it looks
Does that make
interesting. So the next one that stood out to us was Werewolves. That looks like an interesting movie.
Yeah.
Do you want to read our synopsis?
Oh man, Werewolves stars Frank Grillo or I think it's Grillo. Frank Grillo, really, really fantastic stuntman. Did you know that?
No.
Oh yeah. He's getting into filmmaking / over the last 10 years has gotten into filmmaking. So I'm sure he was associated with this one as maybe a producer or something. But ready for some holiday season horror thrills? Frank Grios stars in this action thriller about a group of people trying to survive a second supermoon event which previously led to millions of humans turning into werewolves. I am expecting really cool, creepy, practical werewolves and awesome stunts because of Frank.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks fun. I feel like we haven't gotten this type of movie in a while. So I'm really excited for that. It's just looks like a nice, fun romp under the moon, if you will.
Wow. The Superman.
Have you ever seen American Werewolf in London? Oh, it's really good. You need to watch it. They are so on the nose with all of the music in it. Like, I see that bad moon horizon. Like, it's all
nice.
But it's such a fun, it's just a fun, light soundtrack to a very intense movie. They have a practical effect shot of the guy transforming into the werewolf, and it's insane. It is just
nice
seeing hair grow kind of stuff, and it's just nuts. But it's just how does this even possible? It's a crazy scene. All right.
Oh, that's cool.
Next up,
Y2K.
Y2K,
which is also a holiday thriller movie, but in a different vein where werewolves was like gory monster, rip you apart. This movie is Kyle Mooney's directorial debut with A24. It's a cheeky horror comedy set during New Year's Eve, 1999.
Wait, you ready for the starring?
Stars-
Wait, you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Starring the older brother from It, and the girl from Snow White, and the guy from Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Or the kid from The Hunt for the Wilder People. Have you seen that movie?
No, I have not.
It's a Taika Waititi movie. That was one of, is it Julian? Yeah, Julian Dennison.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of his first movies, and he is hilarious. So funny.
So, how old were you in 2000? Like, or in 1999, turning to 2000?
Oh, 99? I was 3 years
So
old.
you don't remember much?
No.
I was 9.
2. No, I was 2.
You were
I was
2?
2.
So I was 9. I remember this very vividly. The whole idea of Y2K, for those who don't know, because this is ancient history from an old man.
Yeah. It is.
The whole idea is people were afraid that the turning of the millennium in computers, like the computers couldn't handle the digit change from going from,
Yeah.
1999 to 2000. That was the whole.
Too many
That was the whole
zeros.
thought. Is like the computers are all going to crash, and it's hilarious because the whole thought was like, we're so reliant on computers now. You don't understand. Like,
In 99.
yeah. Well, that was the funny part too. Is like how little things were, based on computers then and compared to now, especially. But they thought like,
Yeah.
banks, they're going to erase all your money. You're not going to have anything, and there's going to be riots. Like they literally, some people, my parents, I would say, were medium. Like we had we changed a guest room, and it was a small guest room, but we changed this a guest room into a pantry for Y2K preparation. Like had enough food for at least a few months, kind of stuff. So like that was the only thing they did. Like that's fairly intense, but at the same time, it's like, okay, and then if it doesn't happen, we just eat the food.
Then we
It's
eat
like
it.
it's all like
We
lasting.
left the state.
For Y2K.
Yeah, I remember. Like I don't remember, but my parents would tell me that story. Like we went down to South Carolina. I don't remember. 2 years old. No, we went to South Carolina and we got like a cabin, like cottage thing from someone, like a family friend, in the off season, and so it was like we were very intentionally like not near cities.
Another crazy side is my uncle was building their house, which he's a builder. So he just there for a while on that kind of like every 2 years he builds a house. And if you live on it, there's some good tax breaks and stuff. So it was not anything crazy for them to be like they were always kind of in this situation of like building a house to live in, he literally built in things for Y2K. So he built a hidden pantry, that had access to the outside. So like there was like a little, a recessed window in the ground. So you could get out of this room from there too. So you could go in and like it was like a bookshelf. So like as kids, it was so fun because you'd be like, push open the bookshelf. And there's, like
cool.
storage stuff. And yeah, so like that was really interesting. It's like, hey, I love secret rooms. I wasn't even freaked out, but I was like, that's sweet. I want a secret room. Ever since then, I've wanted a secret room.
Awesome.
So Y2K, I'm excited to see this movie because it's like, it's crazy. The joke, we have about like me being a millennial is how many national crisis can a generation live through. And it's just like, so we got pandemic, 9/11, Y2K, like
The 2012 world-ending thing.
like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like
Y2K.
the Mayan calendar or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like millennials just like looking at the next world-ending event and just like drinking a beer. You're just like,
Yeah, like, all right.
I'm like, okay, let's see. But yeah, so that looks like a funny movie. We love A24.
It does look really
so.
funny.
All right, what do we got next?
Man, Craven the Hunter. Craven the Hunter brings to screen the origin story of one of Spider-Man's most iconic villains. The story centers on a man, Aaron Taylor Johnson, whose complicated relationship with his father, Russell Crowe, serves as a catalyst for him to become the greatest hunter in the world. Are you into this movie? I think I've given up on Sony verse stuff.
Same thing with Venom. I'm like, I don't mind that character, but I don't understand why we're doing side Spider-Man characters. Like, I would rather have a Spider-Man movie with Kraven in it. Like, I don't need a...
It's very
And
true.
I feel like I love anti-heroes, but we have so many anti-heroes. You know, it's like Venom and like Deadpool, and I think Deadpool probably does the best right now, at least, but it's just like, I don't need another one of these movies.
For sure.
Love the actor, though, and like, this would probably be one that's like, hey, if it's got great reviews, I'll go see it, but I'm assuming it's not going to be good, and my default will be to not go see it.
Unfortunately, because also Aaron Taylor Johnson's a great actor.
And Russell Crowe's in it.
So that's, it's a bummer.
He couldn't be in Gladiator 2.
Bummer that I'm so already bummed about it.
You're like,
Did you say Russell Crowe couldn't be in Gladiator 2?
because he's dead. I saw a clip of him that was so funny that he was like upset. He was like legitimately like, because people kept asking him about Gladiator 2, and he dies in Gladiator 1.
Yeah.
It's like the whole point of the first movie.
He's like, you're not seeing the
It's
movie.
like, I should be paid for how many questions I've had to answer about Gladiator 2. I don't know. I'm not in it. Which I thought it was kind of interesting, because it's like, that seems like someone who would have been perfect for like produce. You know, maybe him and Ridley Scott don't get along anymore. I don't know. They also did Robin Hood together, but I was surprised that he didn't have any say in that, just because it is such an iconic role. Like, if I was that director, I'd be like, hey, how can we get him involved? You know, and how can that, but that's just, the next one is The War of the Rohirrim, which we talked a lot about on our last episode, so go check that out. That would be, I think it's going to be a good holiday movie where,
I agree.
So I think that's a good one. It's hard to see, because I feel like there's some of these movies that they come out because of the holiday season. They know they're going to get different demographics of like, what is this family going to go see? You know? Sweet. All right. What next one you want to talk about? Sonic the Hedgehog 3?
Man, dude, I talk to some of my students about Sonic all the time. I don't know anything about Sonic or these movies, but man, are they popular among a young crowd. Like, oh, buddy, this one, like, it seems like they add a character every movie, which is cool. So that's pretty neat. But it's just about Team Sonic finding themselves united against a new enemy, the Shadow, whose powers seem to have no limits. So,
I've never seen one of these movies. But yeah, I think they look fine, especially like they're fun animated movies. Like, it seems like if my kids were a little older, that'd probably be a good one. This was...
I do like the animation change.
I was going to say...
did. I remember that from the first
That was nuts.
movie.
I feel like that's the first time we saw social media aggressively change a movie, because there's like
immediate
it looked
feedback.
terrible. Like, he was like this, like, this is our live action version of Sonic, but it's supposed to kind of look more realistic, but it's still animated, and it looked terrible. It looked like an evil little cat thing. It was just like,
it was really creepy,
and everyone hated it.
But now, now he looks like a fun video game character.
I think that was another thing too, is like, stop going so realistic. You know, it's like, it's meant to be a cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Why would you take a cartoon, Andrew, and make it live action when it's still animated? Anyways, Mufasa, the Lion
Mufasa.
Anyways.
Anywho, hey, they got real actors. I mean, real lions to be actors.
I wonder if they used mocap on like some lions to get some footage. I don't know why. That would just like crack me.
I'm sure they had reference footage a lot, but I will say that Mufasa, there's a creative difference between Mufasa and the Lion King live action that they did. The Lion King, the animals' faces were far less expressive They were like Jon Favreau and everyone who was involved, like they were very hesitant to animate the animals' faces over and beyond what their actual like musculature would have allowed them to do. Obviously, they had to compromise on that because they're talking animals, right? But this one, the animals are way more human emotion expressive, like with eyebrows, with smiles, and all that kind of stuff. So I am curious to see like how people will react to it. If it's going to be like a Sonic thing, where like, oh, The Lion King didn't feel right because it looked like I was just watching a Nat Geo documentary, versus this one is just high fidelity cartoon characters. Maybe I'll like that better.
I struggle with these movies. I think it'll be decent.
Yeah.
And this is a good family movie to go watch. This is the whole family, there's 20 people in this house. We need to get out of the house. Let's go see a movie. This is a great choice. I mean, this comes out December 20th. It's going to be new. And I think it'll be fine. It's just knowing all these live action movies have been decent. So go see it with your family. I'm not saying don't. My heart, though, is just like, these are soulless remakes. I don't like these live action movies. I think every time, like, watch the live action Lion King and then go watch the opening to the animated one. It's like there's so much life and heart and love in that movie. And the live action, I think it looks really cool. It's like, that's an animated lion and it looks real. That's awesome. That's not what I want to be thinking about when I'm watching a movie about singing lions.
Right. Man, that's a good one. That's a good point. Maybe I don't need to be convinced that it is a real lion when they're singing.
I just can't wait to be king. You know, that's all I've got to say.
Man, you know who else said that?
Aragorn.
Aragorn.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king. Da 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 da. I'm killing time so I can figure out what to say next. The next movie I want to talk about, Baby Girl.
You had some.
Did
stuff
you watch
you
the
wanted to
trailer
talk
for
about.
this? So there's like a sub-genre.
Have I told you that I hate Nicole Kidman?
Okay, so
I'm just kidding because I don't.
My feeling about Nicole Kidman. So she used to be married to Tom Cruise, and what was that movie that you liked? It was Stanley Kubrick's last movie. What is it?
Yeah, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. It was Blink. It wasn't
Masks. What was it? My gosh, can you look it up for me?
I'm totally gonna look it up
my
for you.
joke with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise is they are great actors, but they feel like there's nothing beyond the actor. Like they seem like the type of people that when they're not acting, they just kind of power down somewhere and like are standing like in a closet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just off in the corner.
Which is funny that they
were
were
in-
married, but
They were in Eyes Wide
Which
Shut.
is a crazy, like they would call it like an erotic thriller, I guess. It's a crazy movie. It's a very interesting movie, and I think it's Stanley Kubrick. It's all very intentional. It's really weird in the context. So they play a married couple, but it's weird knowing they're married in real life because I think there's a bit of safety when you know people aren't married when they're in this like this terrible relationship on screen, because you're like, well, they're not actually married though, so like we get to separate it, you know. But they're like, that was a real married couple acting out. What if you cheated on me? What would I do? And then like us having super in-depth conversations of like, I hate you. I'm like, it feels weird that they're actually married. Yeah, it's just
gross.
Like, I don't know, like, it was Eyes Wide Shut. Interesting, whatever. But we're talking about Baby Girl, okay?
I know. Which is also an erotic thriller.
So I think there's like this sub-genre of thrillers it's the like traditionally a person in power has an affair, and the person that he has the affair with, whether it was realized or emotional, that person starts causing havoc in their life. Fatal Attraction, you know, these types of like these 90s kind of like these types of thrillers. So like I listened to With Gorley and Rust, the podcast, a lot, and they did a whole season of these movies, and I find them very interesting. So I got excited because it's like this is another one in that subgenre. And it's cool because it's been kind of flipped. So it's the woman who is the CEO, and she's in power, and they don't even say, like, the trailer wise, you don't know if she actually had an affair, but basically there's like this attraction to the younger guy, and then he kind of just shows up, and he's, like starts like messing with her life, kind of blackmailing her and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, I find these types of movies just like really interesting, just like,
Yeah, I think that these could be interesting for both of us in the same way that a horror movie is interesting. That, like, I watch a scary movie because my life is not scary. So this would be an interesting story because I'm like, what is happening? Like, it's so beyond crazy that these things could happen or someone could function in this way.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding? So there's that, like, mysterious thriller aspect for me. Like, Eyes Wide Shut was captivating because I could not imagine talking to my partner that way.
Right. And it's
or doing those things,
And I think it's on the edge of we can relate to this in a sense because it's like the equivalent of you're with your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, and your ex is where you're at. Like that awkward, like, hello, do I hug? So we can relate. Everyone can relate to something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what if this is 1,000 times more intense? So I feel like it's almost a bit of we can kind of understand it from there, but it's just insane, So I find these movies very entertaining. So I didn't think that'd be the movie that I got that pumped about, but I'm like, I'm in. And I think that makes me the better man.
Whoa. One of two musical biopics opening on Christmas Day. I can keep going.
Keep going.
That was a bit. Oh, great. All right. Better Man is undoubtedly the more unusual of the pair. Michael Gracey's film about the life of British pop singer Robbie Williams features a chimpanzee in Williams' place, voiced and played in performance capture by Jono. Yes, Jono Davies.
Yeah. I watched this is a movie I'm like, I don't understand it. It's interesting. I'm not sure what's going on. I watched the trailer. I'm like, I don't understand it. I don't get what's going on. But it's a musical. If you like that kind of music, I'm sure it's going to be a fine movie.
I think so, too.
Yeah. All right. So I've got the last one on the list is like the last one that stood out to me. So this is, I always feel like there's a really cool rift of like what movies are for what demographic or what type of people. So like the people who see the greatest, what was the movie that came out a couple weeks ago? The greatest Christmas pageant ever.
Yeah.
People who go see that, what's the opposite side of that movie going experience? Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, baby. I'm so excited for this movie.
Me too. I've never actually seen the original Nosferatu. Do you know the story about how this movie was made?
No.
So this is actually, it was originally supposed to be a Bram Stoker's Dracula adaptation. And so Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula, which is a really interesting book, by the way. I really recommend it. It's a very interesting book because it's written in the perspective of letters. And so it's like, it starts off with like, he's going to do this he's doing this account work for Count Dracula. Work on his money. And
balancing his
books. Hopefully it's not in front of a mirror. It's a vampire.
Uh-oh.
So he's going to do this work in Transylvania, and so he's writing to his like betrothed. He probably looks like Keanu Reeves for some reason, but he was in one of the Dracula movies. So he's writing this letter back to his lady, and everything that happens is from that. So it's kind of interesting because all this crazy stuff starts happening, but it's like this happened last night, and this was insane, And so it was a really kind of cool way to tell a story, So I highly recommend the book. But the author had passed away. His widow was in charge of his estate. They were making this Dracula movie, the first Dracula movie. They're like Bram Stoker's Dracula. They were going to call it that.
Okay.
She didn't like how the movie was going. She didn't like, I mean, this is Nosferatu. What is it? 1920? We're talking like
Yeah, 1922.
early days of movies. And she didn't like how the movie was turning out. So she's like, you don't get to make my late husband's book into a movie. So they're like,
Right.
crap, we're basically done with this movie and we're not allowed to use it. So they call the character Nosferatu. So they change certain things. So it's technically not Dracula, but
Okay.
it is a Dracula, unofficial Dracula thing, which is hilarious that the movie that's the unofficial adaptation of the book is getting a remake.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
But I think it's kind of cool because they can be a little more free with it. They don't have to stick to the book. They can kind of
yeah.
like pick and choose, but yeah, Bill Skarsgård, Lily Rose Depp, Willem Dafoe, Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson. It comes out December 25th, so that'll be a fun one.
What a cast.
Yeah, it's really good.
How do you think Nosferatu weaseled his way into SpongeBob?
Finish your joke, because I don't
know?
know what you're talking about.
Oh, you don't know what I'm
I'm not a
talking
SpongeBob
about?
guy. I'm sorry.
Dude, there's an episode where Mr. Krabs keeps the Krusty Krab open for 24 hours. And obviously no one comes in because no one except for Patrick Star wants a cheeseburger, a Krabby Patty at 3 a.m. Oh boy, 3 a.m. Right? So Squidward and SpongeBob are doing absolutely nothing around. And there's the hash slinging slasher.
Remember that?
Yes, it's that episode. And SpongeBob is mopping the ceiling at night and doing all sorts of things. And there's a part where like the hash slinging slasher will come and kill you or something when the walls ooze green goo and the lights flicker on and off. And so Squidward is like creating all these self-fulfilling prophecies about him being in trouble. And then they go, oh, they look over. It's not the hash slinging slasher. It's a photo. Like it goes from cartoon to a photo of the actor who played Nosferatu with his hand on a light switch. And it's just animated just to go click, 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 click. And it pans back to SpongeBob and Squidward, and they go, Nosferatu. And I never understood why, like, they would, like, why would Nosferatu be in the Krusty Krab? Why is he flicking the lights on and off? And why is that totally fine that they just see him over in the corner flicking off the lights and they go, Nosferatu?
That's so funny. Like, that's such a joke for, like, the parent
For
who's
sure.
watching
They're like,
this
Nosferatu?
cartoon.
What?
Also, what a deep reference, because when
Yeah.
is Nosferatu a popular movie from the 20s?
Yeah.
A horror movie? It's like, what parent was like, well, I'm a big horror guy, and
That's
that joke
me.
in SpongeBob really hit home.
Oh,
you know?
man.
That's such a funny joke. I'll have to watch through. You've convinced me from this Nosferatu joke.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I really need to rewatch SpongeBob.
You
That'd
should.
be really fun.
The first 5 seasons are just home run after home run.
Nice.
So,
Delight.
I will say, I obviously am excited for Nosferatu, and I'm also, my dream is to look like Willem Dafoe at his age. Like, what a handsome older gentleman. Do you see his
I'm gonna-
mustache in that trailer?
My goal is to look like Willem Dafoe in the Boondock Saints.
Just at any point, if you can achieve that, you're good.
Yeah.
Nice. For sure.
And if you get that joke, you're one of the boys. Welcome to the
Will you
club.
stay looking like that or just momentary?
Yeah, probably the rest of my life.
Oh, great.
Dress
That's
as Willem Dafoe.
ideal. That's ideal. Okay, great.
So, okay, I'll tell you the joke. So, in the Boondock Saints, he disguises himself as a female hooker
Oh,
to go tempt people.
I didn't know that.
One of my buddies, for a while we were just like, we'd make jokes and then he would make them into videos. It was a very specific time in my life. Like he was really into editing. So he would like we watched the trailer. I think it's called The Great Wall. It's the
Matt Damon movie.
Yeah. like the Great Wall of China. The reason they built it is because of dragons from another world, or something like that. I never even saw it, but in the trailer, Willem Dafoe goes, "There are things you have not seen," and he cut in with him as a hooker from the Boondock Saints, and he was just like, "There are things you have not seen," and it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da, and he's just like him as a hooker.
That's good.
Damn.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to wrap up this episode. We've got some exciting news on the pod. So the month of December. Oh, first of all, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh,
this
happy
is Thanksgiving.
week.
We miffed it. Have some turkey, have some mashed potatoes, stuffing. What's your Thanksgiving dish?
Mulled wine.
Mulled wine.
Yeah,
Have some.
I
mulled
like to
wine.
mull wine.
Take some wine, mold it.
Mull. M-U-L-L.
Mull.
Mull.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. It's
It's
you
spiced.
cut out. You
It's
cut out.
I'm sorry. It's spiced wine. I spice wine.
Do you make it yourself? Like,
I don't
do
make
you
the wine, but I'll get a
mold
blend of red wine and then I will mull it.
mull it?
Then it is
Mull it over.
mulled wine. Yeah.
So after you mull it,
Yeah.
it's mold.
It's mulled and usually best consumed warm, hot.
Ooh. Delightful. Well, I'll have to try that
Thank
this
you,
holiday
thank you.
season while watching Nosferatu.
You're right.
So for the month of December, we're going to kind of do this different thing where we haven't done a ton of movie talks lately. So we want to do more movie talks. We haven't decided exactly what movies we're going to do yet, but every Saturday in December, we will be having a movie talk. We're going to be diving into some classic movies that we love, talking about them, having some guests on. We don't know exactly who yet, but it's going to be really fun, light December to kind of bring in the new year. And so we'll still have the weekly show, but the weekly show is just going to be movies coming out that weekend. So quick little talks on the new movies for that weekend, short mini episodes, still be fun. And then every Saturday we're going to have a movie talk in December. So, and then January, we'll probably go back to normal show as is, but it'll be kind of fun to change it up. So that'll be exciting.
It'll be really exciting.
All right, Andrew, my friend, take us home.
I mean, what does Thanksgiving say?
Thanks. Gobble. Thank God for this Thanksgiving Day. Little Ben Rector.
Chris Ren.
The
oh,
only,
yeah.
the
I thought it
only
was Chris
Thanksgiving
Ren.
song I know.
It's a great
it's,
song.
It's Ben. It's great. Check out Thanksgiving song.
Thanksgiving song by Benjamin Rector. Thanks
That's
for
a song.
listening.
Sorry, real quick. Let me push this song.
Heath?
It talks about sitting at the kids' table, and now the kids sitting at the kids' table have kids of their own.
Yeah.
And it gets you. It gets you. Link in the description. All right, take us home.
Ben, if you want to be on the pod, let us know.
Ben, we'll have you on. You
Yeah.
can join us.
No worries. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. You can watch on Spotify. You can watch on YouTube. You can subscribe to a YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Spotify. Actually, I didn't mention that one last week. You can follow us on Instagram. Please do, at Your Feature Presentation. We love interactions. We love hearing from you guys. So, as always, go see a movie.
Go see a movie.